G'day humans, Chris Stead here from Find. I'm on the road. Today I'm at the Wollondilly River Station, about 2 hours or so south of Sydney. Now I've come and stayed here quite a few times and just spent New Year's Eve up here. Have a look at that. Sick. Seriously, doesn't get much better than this place. Now, show you around a little bit. So down that road, you've got Wombeyan Caves, about 15 kilometres or so. Down this road, you've got Mittagong. That's about 40 kilometres away. Now, the road on the way in is probably only about 10 k's of sealed road. The rest of it's unsealed. It used to be really potholy, but they've since resealed a fair chunk of it actually, so it's not too bad now. You do see a lot of two-wheel drive cars down here, hatchbacks, that type of thing, so you can get them down there. But it's definitely more favourable for all wheels or for the four-wheel drives. So I've taken a quick tour and show you a little bit about this river station, but you're looking at spending roughly about $50 a night to $70 a night, depending on the time of year. We're here at New Year's Eve, it's $70 a night for a family of 5. You can camp on that bank or on that bank all the way along, and there's also a couple of spots further down there near Ina's house, which is the owner of the property. Now, one of the cons with this place is the road down here, as I said, but also it can be a bit hard to communicate sometimes and get feedback from Ina on availability and so forth, but just persist. She will get you back and give you a call, and you can book in here. She doesn't like to pack it out, so that's one of the other big pros of the place, is it's not very packed. So while it can be a little bit challenging to get a spot, you're not really swamped in, as I'll show you as we have a walk through the campsite. So I'm just walking you in now to the north side of the river, which is where we've been camping on this trip and our previous trips. You always kind of stay to the same spot, know what you know, right? But there's a south bank over there, it's got plenty of camping as well. Now, as you can see, it's pet friendly. These dogs, they're supposed to be on leashes, they never are. So while the road down from Mittagong is now pretty much achievable by all cars, the road to the actual campsite can get a little bit gnarly. We've had 5 or 6 days now of straight sun, so most of the puddles and so forth are not here that you usually have to drive through. Get a bit muddy, as you can see from some of the tyre tracks here. So little hatches and stuff might bottom out. Now, I might as well just talk about the cons first, because I think the pros are pretty self-evident. But that's your toilet. So you've got a couple of these scattered around, usually one for every couple of sites. They're drop toilets, and they do pack up pretty quick, but she does come around and empty them out every day. So it's not too bad. It's not a problem for me at all, but some people don't quite like it. The river is a little bit temperamental. Obviously, it's very affected by rain. So in the 5 days that we've been here, it's dropped about 1 metre at least. But the current's also really slowed down, so the drifting, you can just float out there. It's pretty shallow really, like an adult can stand for most of the way across, but it's deep enough that you can swing in off rope bridges, and we built a little slide in where we are, and the kids are pretty safe, So the kids have been kayaking and mucking around in the river and paddle boards and everything the entire time we've been here, having an absolute ball. Where we've been fishing, pulling in quite a few carp, up to the biggest we caught was a 58 centimetre 2 kilo carp, so a bit of fun there. So one of the cons you may have noticed already is that the ground isn't perfectly manicured perfection, but it's still really nice soft grass. There's not a hell of a lot of flat space. It's flattish in most places, but not super flat. So that's something to consider if you're in big groups and you want to camp together. You might want to get 1 or 2 sites, because the single site may not have enough flat spots for multiple tents, which is something we've come across before, but you can see it's not too bad. And shade, and it's pretty hot now, it's about 30 something degrees. But shade's all right, you're in the water, you're under the it's not really that big a complaint. And there was no reception until the last time I got here, or the last time I got here there was no reception, but since then they've added support for Telstra at the very least. So you can actually get reception down here now. Here you can see another site peeling off, and there's only a portaloo or drop toilet. Well, that's actually a portaloo. This will just give you an idea of the terrain and the drive in. Now this keeps going and going and going, probably about halfway to that bluff you can see in the background. And this is about how dense as it gets, you know, it's not too bad. Just, you know, a couple of tents, plenty of green space, and then decent gap between the next group, so definitely great for families. This is where we generally stay. It's a nice big flat spot, but there's plenty of spots like this, and there's some in a lot more shade than this as well. In terms of the pros of staying here, well, it should be self-evident. Freaking stunning bit of the world, isn't it? Nice breeze comes through every afternoon as well. We've stayed here in the dead of winter and in the dead of summer. Can get hot, obviously. That's what the river's for. In winter, the river can get quite cold. It's crisp, so the kids don't go in it as much. But it's still a nice place to be. Now you can have open fires, and it is private property. So going around and finding sticks and wood and that's not too difficult. They can obviously bring your own as well. Anyway, I've been sitting under that tree for 5 days having a damn fine time. So there's a very quick review of the Wollondilly River Station. Highly recommend checking this joint out. It's one of my favourite spots to camp. It's real close to Sydney. And it's just so good with the kids.